Shawn,
Mike?
what is this? A crossover episode? Yowza, yowza, bobowza. Eventually, our intro is just going to be the longest part of the show. We're just
I know,
keep
the
adding to it.
longest running intro.
The longest running intro in Bojack Horseman podcast history. Hello, everybody. I'm Mike, and that's Shawn, and this is What Is This? A crossover episode? A Bojack Horseman podcast about Bojack Horseman. And I bet you're wondering, for some reason, this is your first episode, and you're wondering, what is there to talk about with Bojack Horseman? That show's been off air for years. Well, we're going through the episodes because Shawn's never seen them, and I have, and I love the show, and Shawn likes it so far?
Yeah, I'm really enjoying it.
So, I don't know why you picked Season 2, Episode 9 to be your first episode of this podcast, but we welcome you anyway.
That's pretty fucking weird. Why'd you do that?
It's a bit strange. This episode's called The Shot, and the little blurb on IMDb, Bojack, Kelsey, Todd, Princess Carolyn, and Mr. Peanut Butter attempt to shoot a crucial scene in the Secretariat movie that was not in the script. Princess Carolyn and Diane contemplate their respective careers. This one has an 8.2 out of 10 on IMDb. Star rating. Pretty good episode.
Yeah, I liked it.
But it also aired on July 17th, 2015, Shawn, which...
It did?
We should look back and see what happened on that day.
Yeah.
In July 17th.
If for some reason this is your first episode, buckle the fuck up.
So we'll just start with the worst thing. Suicide bomber in Iraq kills 120. ISIS claims responsibility.
It would be so funny if you didn't say that one.
if I said the worst thing and said Marvel's Ant-Man starring Paul Rudd as the titular character is released.
Yeah.
Hey, you ask some Marvel fans, they might agree with that.
Yeah.
Scientists solved mystery of sleeping sickness in 2 villages in northern Kazakhstan. Turns out uranium mining had caused increase in carbon monoxide, as it does. Jules Bianchi, French auto racer, dies from injuries during accident at 2014 Japanese F1 GP at age 25. So, I've been thinking about this.
Okay.
The race he got injured in was in 2014.
But he died a year later?
This is July 2015.
Yeah, so he died a year later from the wounds.
My man was in it for a while there. That
sucks.
Tough.
Yeah.
That's tough.
Yeah.
Owen Chadwick, English historian, priest, and university chancellor, dies at age 99.
Skill issue.
Go ahead, Shawn. Yep, say your thing.
Skill issue. 99? Couldn't even make it to 100, dude? Come on. Come on.
More like Owen Virginwick, not Owen Chadwick. Am I right? I can't believe it took me that long to make that joke. And then on the music charts, number 1 in the UK was Black Magic by Little Mix, which we determined earlier was like a weird girl band from the UK.
Yes,
and then number 1 song in the US was See You Again, Wiz Khalifa featuring Charlie Puth. You know Charlie Puth has perfect pitch?
I did know that, actually.
That's like his thing, right?
Yeah,
Everybody
that's his
talks
brand.
About it. It's like, oh, I'm Charlie Puth, I have perfect pitch. Oh. It's like, shut up, dude.
Is that how you say his name? Poof?
Poof. I don't know how you say it. I like to say Charlie Poop, and then it makes me giggle. I go Charlie Poop.
and then you give a little...
you know.
Little.
Anyway, so that's what happened the day this episode aired on Netflix, which... Yes, we know the joke is that they all air at the same time.
Don't acknowledge it.
No, I had to. I'm too tired to not, you know? I'm too tired and cynical to be like, this joke's funny. Because
it is funny.
Not. But
But it loops back around to being funny because of how unfunny it is.
I'm sure in like 2 episodes I'll appreciate it again. But right now I'm like, really? We're still doing this? Anyway, The Shot. What'd you think of this episode, Shawn?
I liked it. You asked me right as I was taking a drink of my water. Yeah, I liked it.
You're welcome.
I thought it was funny. I thought it had, that standard Bojack. Oh God. And it, that's how I described it. It's a little bit of a, oh God, just thrown right in there. right in there for you to deal with, and this show doesn't really care if you want to deal with it or not.
Right.
Um,
Right.
but it's
So
funny and
I want to
painful.
add a segment, Shawn.
Okay.
So basically, what I've been doing is finding reviews on IMDb
Uh-huh.
that people write, and if I find one that I think is especially poignant, I want to read it during
Okay.
this part. And so we have a 9 out of 10 review from Edvis1997,
Okay.
and the review is, it's pretty sad episode, and in each episode you can see that Horse Bojack had not very pleasant childhood. When a person can't cry in front of people, it's not good because he's not emotionally right.
Thank you.
Thank you, Edvis.
Thank you. Very, very
Thank you, Edward.
very important,
Very poignant.
very important commentary on the
It
episode.
needed to be said.
Yeah, because really the show didn't make it clear enough.
Horse Bojack is what I'm going to refer him to from now on.
Horse Bojack, man horse Bojack, Bojack, man horse Bojack.
God, we sound like fucking Daniel Radcliffe last episode.
True.
Anyway, so this episode, I like it too. I think it's good. I think it's a good it's a bit more silly than the previous episode, which is good.
Yes.
Obviously, but there are definitely.
Is it more silly?
I think so, because
yeah.
the previous episode really, I don't want to say it got heavy, but it definitely dealt with like real world issues. Where this is more like it's not lampooning something that's like in the real world. It's just like more of a character episode. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I might argue that this is equally as goofy as last episode, because last episode was, what do they know? Let's find out, right?
Oh, like, shit, you're right. No, I'm sorry. I was thinking Hank After Dark. You're right. You're right.
Yes,
Let's find out was definitely goofy.
Yeah,
but
I was like, really? I was like,
oh, I'm in
JD
a time loop.
Salinger saying that he's God for the next 30 minutes,
yeah,
was it?
You're right. For some reason, I was thinking of the first episode we did last time. I don't know why.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know what my point was then. Whatever. Anyway, this episode starts with a flashback to a scene that they're going to try to recreate in the Secretariat movie of Secretariat meeting with President Nixon.
So immediately like thunder and lightning and like strings.
Really villainizing Nixon here.
Do they need to?
No, they don't need to. That's what's funny about it is they're like Nixon's basically Dracula in this.
I don't know if they're villainizing Nixon. I think they're just portraying him.
I don't know. Did he refer to himself as the goddamn president of the United States or whatever?
Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised.
Okay, fair enough. Brian Husky voices Richard Nixon and the security guard character later, and you may know him from things such as Veep or Bob's Burgers or Children's Hospital.
Nope, none of those things. I did write
you might
down
know him from that.
I did write down, "Yo, Nixon," when he popped up on screen in my notes.
I will say Brian Husky's one of those guys you see him and you go, I know that guy, but you don't know what from.
You said Brian Husky?
Yeah, Huskey.
Oh, I know that guy.
See, exactly.
Wait, I actually do know that guy. He's the If Google Was a Person guy.
Okay, I don't know what that is, but he's one of those guys. You know,
Isn't he?
He's that guy.
Isn't he the If Google Was a Person guy?
I don't know.
He is.
That's what he's known for.
That's what he's known for. It's a college humor sketch. It's really.
He's
good.
One of those guys. He's that guy.
Yeah.
You know, you see me, hey, it's that guy.
The guy from If Google Was a Guy. Yeah.
Yeah, that guy. We get, John Krasinski's Secretariat begging Nixon to not send him to Vietnam.
I love Nixon's, perhaps an arrangement can be arranged.
And that arrangement, we find out, is Secretariat's brother, Jeffretariat, going to Vietnam.
Yep.
And also Secretariat having to say nice things about Nixon.
He's like, my brother's a hero. He's over in over in Vietnam fighting. Another hero is President Nixon. He is one groovy dude. I got to tell you, Jeffretariat sounds like so in the first D&D campaign I ever played in, we had this thing where my character was like wanted by the military of the country we were in.
Uh-huh.
And we went through like a military encampment, and they were like, "Hey, aren't you that guy Anders Stormwind?" And I just went, "No, I'm his brother, Anders Stormwind."
Yeah.
And then rolled like a 20 on my persuasion roll, so it worked.
Mhm.
And that Jeffertarian has the same energy as that.
It's a bit of a Tyler Rim situation for sure.
Well, it's just like it doesn't sound real.
No, it's not. It's a very goofy bit they did there with the Jeffertariat.
Yeah.
This cuts to young Bojack seeing Secretariat take a drag of his cigarette and saying cool, and then seeing his mom's and deciding to do it, and then he is punished by his mother, and of course, in classic terrible parent fashion, she's making him finish the cigarette, and he asks, "Are you punishing me for smoking or for stealing?" And she says, "I'm punishing you for being alive." It's a very it's like, I think it's played for laughs, but like knowing everything about Bojack and his mother's relationship, it's actually really sad.
Yeah, I'm punishing you for being alive feels dead serious from her in that.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
like up to that point, I guess I should say it's played for laughs until
it's
she
definitely
says that.
it's played for a laugh, but it's a laugh because it's sad that she's serious.
Right.
You know? Like,
and
it's
Yeah, it's Bojack's mother is tough. She's a tough character for sure. And then Bojack, flicks a cigarette off his balcony and starts a fire, and we cut to the intro of the episode, and then we cut to Bojack on his way to work. They're back shooting Secretariat. He's excited. He's on the phone with Wanda. He mentions to Wanda. First, Wanda's like, "You already told me this morning. All this stuff this morning. Why are you calling me?" And he goes, "Well, normally I talk to Diane on the way to work, but she bailed on me." And Wanda's like, "Wow, good to know that I'm just a replacement for Diane or a backup for Diane." And he goes, "Yep, okay, bye." Hangs up the phone.
I'm not gonna lie to you, Mike. This Wanda thing has lasted a lot longer than I thought it was going to.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
They are like way bad for each other.
Yep. 100%. It's very obvious. Very obvious. So he heads into work, and Turtle Top is there with Kelsey Jennings, the director, and they're shooting what appears to be a Christmas scene because they have removed the scene Bojack was excited about, the scene that we saw in real life earlier where Secretariat sells his soul to Nixon, basically.
They're fucking ruining the movie.
Right. But they did a focus test when they were taking a break from filming, and people don't like the gritty, real stuff. That's not what sells in Hollywood, so they're changing it. And Kelsey seems fine with this. Bojack, not happy. Yeah, typical Hollywood stuff, right?
Yeah. It's like cool. Yep. Cool.
Well, and Kelsey's supposed to be this like indie director, but as we learned earlier about her in the season, she's kind of seen this movie as like her payday.
Yeah.
So she can send her daughter to school and da-da-da. So it makes sense that she'd just kind of go, yeah, whatever.
Well, and Lenny makes it's a poignant line, but it's a good line where he's like, she's a professional. She just kind of shrugs about it. Like, it good happens. Shrug. Good shrug.
Good shrug. And then I believe we cut to Sebastian St. Clair and Diane, right?
I
didn't take notes.
No, I don't think so. So there's also a line from Lenny that I want to highlight where he says, that guy who spent 12 years as a slave? They don't talk about the 60 years he spent as a jerk.
You're right. That's really funny.
And then I think we go to Princess Carolyn and the rabbit guy.
Oh, Rutabaga.
Yeah, Rutabaga.
Rabetowitz.
Yeah.
And they meet in a closet because he wants.
Well, he drags her into a closet.
Right. She's watering the plants, and he drags her into a closet, and because he wants to start his own firm now that he's getting divorced.
Yeah,
he's having a midlife crisis for sure.
They keep playing like he's gonna confess some love for her. But instead, he keeps kind of turning in the other direction, being like, "I want to be business partners," or whatever.
But he also says things like, "I want to look at you. I want," you know what I mean?
Oh,
so there's
there's clearly something going on there.
Yeah. And she's unsure because, who's going to water the plants? Because apparently she still waters the plants.
Yeah, I can't believe that she waters the plant still. But he's like, to convince her, he says, "Gritty, witty, city kitty. I want you with me, fitty fitty."
Hell yeah. Ben Schwartz, man. What a genius.
Oh, God, I keep forgetting that's Ben Schwartz. He just disappears into the rabbit.
Right. But he's killing it.
Yeah.
And then, shit, I don't remember the character's name.
Stuart. I wrote his name down because I wrote maybe the meanest thing I've ever written in my notes.
Oh, what was it?
I just wrote, this is only going to be mean to people that are in the Discord server, but I wrote, Stuart gives big egg vibes.
Oh, no, egg. Yeah, he's a bit of an egg.
Yeah.
The way he says, "So I'm the idiot." You're the one in the janitor closet, so I'm the idiot.
Yeah.
So,
if you want to understand that joke, join our Discord server.
Yes, links in the description. And then just avoid egg at all costs.
Yeah.
Then we go to Sebastian St. Clair.
Yes,
right?
and this is when she's like, the first thing you'll notice about Sebastian St. Clair is that he speaks in paragraphs.
Right. She's writing the book. She's writing her notes, but she's kind of like writing the book in her head that she wants to write, right?
Yeah.
And you hear her narration throughout the episode, cut with like actual dialogue of the characters speaking. And we meet a young sick boy who's again, I didn't take notes, so his name.
I'll look it up.
It's like something with a K.
Yeah, I'll look it up.
But he's in his native language, it means orphan whose parents were killed by war, and he'll probably die young, probably from malaria.
Specifically, not just killed by war, murdered by rebels.
That's right. And will probably die young of malaria. And
I love when he was explaining why he did this. He was like, I was in my home. Like, he was a very wealthy person before.
I know what you're going to say.
And he was like, I was in my home, and all I could hear at night was the screaming of children. And so I screamed, "Shut up, children! Shut up, children!"
Like, the way he delivers it, too, which is, "Shut up, children!" He's telling a story, and he instantly goes back to, the way he was screaming at him, and it's just so funny.
His name is Kinko, by the way.
Kinko. Yeah, I was like Coco? What was it? Kinko.
Yeah, Kinko.
So we meet Kinko. We see, as we've gotten pretty much every time we've seen Sebastian St. Clair, this hilarious visual gags of him trying to help these kids, but clearly not giving a shit.
Yeah.
He pours soup on one kid.
And then they all chase the kid.
Yeah, to go eat the soup.
Yeah.
At one point, I think this is later, but at one point we see the library he's built, and it's this super modern looking
that's
library
later.
In the middle of a war zone. And then there's a statue of him building the library, and then there's on the wall there's a painting of him posing for the statue.
Yeah,
so he's very self-important, obviously, and Diane starts to realize that as this goes on. I think now we cut back to them shooting Secretariat and the Christmas scene.
Yes.
And it is the most fluffy, bullshit, the lines.
It's awful.
Now I know that the Triple Crown isn't important, or a triple hug is more important than the Triple Crown, or something like that. It's just and then Bojack, they cut, and Bojack goes outside with Kelsey, and he's like, "Hey, this sucks. We need to, do something."
He says, I had to touch 3 children today, and one of them was very sticky. And then the kid walks by, and he goes, "Yeah, it was you."
Wash your hands, you little gremlin. He has this idea because there is a replica of the Oval Office at the local Nixon Library, and he wants to go shoot the scene that was cut, where Secretariat makes a deal with Nixon. And she's hesitant at first, but he says, "We can break in, we can do it, we'll show it to Turtletop, he'll love it." And you can tell this is what she really wants to do, so she says, "You know what? All right, let's do it." And
but also, she's like, "How the fuck do you know all this about this place?"
Right.
And Bojack reveals that in, Horsing Around, his character was president in season 3, but it was, they revealed that it was a dream in season 4.
Yes.
And she says something, I don't remember what she says, but she's like, "Man, president and then dream," and he's like, "Not our best season, but not our worst.
Yeah.
Which is like, what?
How does it get worse than that, Bojack? So they start to plan. He starts to build a team, and they do this funny bit. And maybe I'm out of order here, but I just want to reference it now. They do this funny bit where he goes, we need to get the best lockpick in the city. And they show this guy, and he goes, not interested. We need to get the second best lockpick in the city. Nope. We need to get a lockpick. And then it's Todd, and he goes, Todd, can you pick locks? He goes, I guess. And he goes, all right, we got Todd. And then they do a funny bit outside Princess Carolyn's apartment where Bojack's screaming up to her that they're going to break into this place, and it's a top secret, like, sneak in thing, and people shouldn't know about it. He's just screaming it, and then her neighbor is like, "Hey, shut up!" He goes, "If you have a problem with me taking up with my agent, your neighbor, Princess Carolyn," and she's just like, "Jesus Christ!" So she joins the team, and then he gets character actress Margot Martindale. Finally did her time in prison, and on her release,
Sorry, go ahead.
On her release, she walks out. And he pulls up. He goes, I need help for the break-in. And she goes, Bojack, it's been 2 minutes. What took you so long?
Yeah. And then before that, he goes to Mr. Peanut Butter because he needs somebody to play opposite him in the scene.
Needs to be Checkers. He needs to be Checkers. Nixon's guard dog. I don't know.
Yeah, like Secret Service guy. But like, he doesn't need Mr. Peanut Butter. No. Like, he really doesn't need anybody to do that. The shot is just of him.
He realizes as he's asking Mr. Peanut Butter.
Yeah. And then, so Mr. Peanut Butter is recording all these ad reads for different parts of
different markets,
different markets. And he made a joke that I wasn't aware of. And so I'm gonna look it up now.
Are you talking about the Waco, Texas one?
Yeah, he's doing Texas, and he says Waco, Texas, a horrible tragedy. I'm sorry. I don't.
So there's actually a documentary about this on Netflix right now. The 3-part series tells the story of Waco cult leader David Koresh and the violent siege that took place over 51 days in 1993.
So now I do know about this. Now that I've seen the siege that took place, I remember hearing, but I don't know a lot about this.
Yeah, but this is like what Waco's known for.
Yeah,
which is sad.
Yeah.
But that he makes that. I like his Seattle one where he's like, Space Needle, Starbucks.
Yeah.
What does Ethan Hawke know? Does he know things? Rain.
They're all very funny.
Yeah. I also like that later they reveal that Ethan Hawke is an actual hawk.
Of course.
I love those. I know that it's a bit they've been doing for a long time, but and of course he doesn't speak. He just goes "Caw!" when they see him. It's fucking stupid. But
what else would it be?
Right. Well, sometimes they trick you, like with Vanessa Gecko.
I guess that's true. That's true. Sometimes they do. You're forgetting the most important member of the team.
Alan. Well, we're not to Alan yet because he steals the model from the same library.
And that's when we meet the security guard, right?
And that's when we meet the security guard that looks interestingly enough like Nixon, and he keeps making references to maybe Nixon had a son that no one knows about. So this guy just everything he says, he works back into the fact that he could be Nixon's son. But Todd distracts him so Bojack can steal the model of the library.
And replace it with like a shitty cardboard one.
Yeah. And Todd's like, is that the neon exit sign from Nixon's house? And he's like, no, it's just an exit sign. So like that's the kind of way Todd distracts him with like stupid objects. So then they meet up to go over the plan, and that's when we meet Alan, who is working on Bojack's cable because the cable went out due to the fire he started.
Yes. And,
Bojack, before we meet Alan, Bojack says, this is going to be bad. Someone's going to die. Probably Alan.
Yeah.
And then it pans out and Alan's working on TV. He goes, well, I'm just here to work on your cable. He goes, sorry, Alan, we don't know you very well. It's going to be one of us. And so they're setting up this Alan death. He's like, you're in too deep. You have to be a part of this now. And then it's at this point where Wanda, who's just sitting there reading a script, is like, "Hey, can you guys like keep it down? Like, I'm gonna give vague notes on my script I'm reading because I'm distracted, and you probably should have asked me before you had people over." And Bojack's just like, "You're right, I should have." Like, it's like a very like understanding moment between the two of them, which is odd. It almost to the point where it's like, oh, they don't really even care about each other at all. It's that kind of like, she's just a roommate, right?
Yeah, and then. The script is titled Fat Guy, Hot Wife.
I'm assuming they're looking at Kevin James too.
I mean, it's gotta be, right? I mean, if we're talking like, if it was Kevin James, that would fit the joke of how she's like been gone for a while even better, right? Like, like
he's got to be attached to that though. That guy, every movie or show he's in, he has a hot wife, and I don't get it.
Yeah.
No way that's real,
I don't know. Maybe he's really funny.
Well, we both know that's not true.
I don't know. He's Paul Blart, dude.
Yeah, the fucking peak of comedy. Yeah. Paul Blart.
Yeah. He wrote that movie. Did you know that? He helped write it.
Did he?
Yeah.
That doesn't surprise me. Does that surprise you?
No.
That Paul Blart or that Kevin James? I know him as Paul Blart, to be honest.
That's so interchangeable.
I can't believe I didn't say Paul Blart in the first place. That's normally what I do.
Yeah,
like when Adam Sandler does it, it's like, okay, Adam Sandler is at least a semi-attractive guy, like at least in his youth, maybe. You could see women being into him. Kevin James, it just makes zero sense. He's just a doof. Anyway, that was my rant about.
Anyways, also, Bojack's girlfriend, I can never remember her name. Wanda, thank you. Says, can you at least let Alan fix the cable before he dies?
Yeah. And Alan's like, I'm endangered. I can't die, because he is in fact a panda bear.
Yeah.
So the plan is they're gonna have because the security's heavier, because Bojack stole the model. They're gonna have Princess Carolyn, Todd, Alan, and Margot Martindale break into a mini mall art store. Like, it doesn't really make a lot of sense, but they're going to break in there to draw all the cops over there, while Kelsey, Mr. Peanut Butter, and Bojack break into the museum to shoot the scene.
Yeah. We also we go to I don't know, we go to Cordovia for a second.
Sokovia,
yes.
Yeah.
Where Wanda, Diane is telling this little kid that one day perhaps he can grow up to be a food critic for the New Yorker, but more realistically, probably the Atlantic.
Yeah, and he goes to sleep holding the New Yorker that she was reading to him. Yeah. And Sebastian St. Clair says, "Hey, you're getting really close to this sick child. You're supposed to be focused on me."
I forgot that detail.
Yeah, it was Kinko.
Yeah.
You're supposed to be focused on me and what I'm doing so I can get to more donations to help more people.
So, okay, I'm going to throw this out here right now. I don't think they've explicitly stated this, but that line, the foundation line, raised my eyebrows. That's totally like a scam, right? He's taking all that money?
I don't think so.
You don't think so?
No, because I mean, you see the library he built, right? Like
but he could have paid for that.
Well, right, but that's the idea, is he's paying for it, like.
But like foundation implies that they're gonna get all the money. I don't know if I believe that.
Maybe, I don't know. Are any foundations like that not scams? I guess is my
argument. That's why I thought maybe that would be something that she learns that will sour her on this. But I guess not.
I think she gets soured on it just in this episode.
That's true. I forgot at the end she's already back.
Yeah. I think he thinks he's helping people. I think that's what makes the character work.
You think so? Okay.
He thinks he's helping people. I don't think he thinks he's scamming people. He's just so self-important.
Mm-hmm.
In an Elon Musk kind of way that he doesn't realize he's not helping people,
mm-hmm.
or that his help isn't good.
Yeah.
So we cut back to the Ocean's 11 style deal here. And Todd goes to break into the art place, and he just he goes to cut a little glass hole in the glass door, and then the whole door just shatters. And they walk in, and he's like, "Well, don't turn it back now. Sorry, Alan." And it's
like you don't see Alan at first. You just see the three of them, I think. And then it pans back to see Alan, and he's like, "Why do you keep saying that?"
Yeah. So Princess Carolyn gets distracted by this painting, where it kind of splits off into its own little story here. But
this part was weird.
So Princess Carolyn's going through a lot, right?
Yeah.
It's very obvious. And so she pictures herself. I guess we'll just handle this part now. But while everything's going on here, she pictures herself in this idyllic cabin in New England, where Vanessa Gecko is her servant, and she just can live a normal life as opposed to the busy life that she lives. And at first she likes it, but then Vanessa Gecko comes in and is like, "Yeah, I signed the watermill guy to a 3-year picture," And she's like, "Wait, why is this happening?" She goes, "I don't know. It's your imagination, not me."
Mm-hmm.
And I think she realizes, and Vanessa Gecko even tells her this, the fake one, that she doesn't want a normal life. She wants, the chaos. She wants what, she has. She just won't admit it. And it's kind of a way to get Princess Carolyn to, at the end of the episode, kiss Rutabaga in the elevator and say that she's all in. That's how she kind of works that through and decides, you know what, we're going to go make our own deal.
Yeah. I guess I didn't really understand, and maybe this is just like a joke that I'm not getting, but why this picture sucked her in like that.
I think it just looked nice to her. I think it just looked idyllic.
Okay.
And we see that with we've already seen it a little bit with Bojack, where he's like, "Oh yeah, I'll go to Maine and live this idyllic life."
That's
on this.
True.
So I think that's just I think there's something to be said about people that live a life like that going, "Oh man, I could move to Hollywood and become a movie star." And then the people that are there are like, "Man, I could move to the wilderness and just live off the land." And
I could get the fuck away from here.
The grass is always greener, and I think there's something to that. But yeah, so while this is happening, we meet 2 cops, and one is obsessed with CrossFit, and everything he goes, "Roll out." That's something we say at CrossFit, and the dog cop is like, "Dude, please stop talking about CrossFit." But he mentions that he feels like he looks fat in his gear.
Oh, in his gear, yeah.
And later Margot Martindale calls him chunky, I think.
Yeah.
Goes, "See?" But basically they show up and recognize Margot Martindale, but they don't know her by name, and that is offensive to her, because she's,
Well, oh, never mind. Sorry.
Hello?
I was thinking that there was a line here, but it's a line later. I'm sorry.
So when he doesn't remember her name, the cop goes, "Well, but it's enough to know that we enjoy your work, right?" And she goes, "No," and pulls out a gun and starts a fucking firefight. During this point, Alan gets shot, but his cell phone takes the bullet, and his cell phone even survives, and he finds out that his wife is in labor, so he's going to be a dad, so he just leaves.
I was so happy. I thought he was going to die at the end of the episode or something, and he just...
Nope.
My boy got away safe
Alan
and sound.
lives to fight another day. Good for him. So there's a shootout, and meanwhile...
Yeah, a crazy fucking shootout.
Right. A goofy... She's, killing cops left and
right.
right.
There's, 10 of them surrounding her, and she's, matrixing her way into surviving.
They definitely have stormtrooper aim, that's for sure.
Yeah.
She's not taking good cover. Todd is just hiding. Princess Carolyn is just entranced in the painting. And then at the library, Kelsey, Mr. Peanut Butter, and Bojack go to break in. Bojack tries to use a grappling hook, but it fails, so they just use a ladder. And as they're getting set up for the scene, the security guard shows up.
Yeah, he busts in, and he goes, "Freeze!" And then the director just drops her shit and goes, "I'm Union."
I also like the line he says here, "Breaking and entering, that is against everything that Nixon stood for."
Yes. And they're like, we're making a movie about Nixon. And he goes, what? Another leftist screed about how corrupt he was?
And they're like, no. And he goes, or is it about maybe that he had a long lost son that he never, like he goes on this like long tirade, and Bojack goes, the second one. And so they say, hey, you can be Nixon, even though they don't really need Nixon for the shot. They just need Bojack, right?
Uh-huh.
And so he goes, I'll be ready in 5. And so they convince him to be part of it. And then, of course, Mr. Peanut Butter's mad that he gets a line, so he thinks he should have a line. Like, he thinks he's mad that the Nixon's son, yeah.
If he has a line, I just think I should have a line,
Exactly, exactly.
And Bojack is like, actors.
So the line he has is, and I'm Checkers.
And Bojack tries to explain, like, look, his line isn't going to be in the movie. We're just letting him say it so he doesn't call the cops. And
Mr. Peanut Butter goes, if I call the cops, do I get a line? Classic Mr. Peanut Butter.
For a second here, we cut to Cordovia, where there's just been like a bombing.
Yes.
And oh God, what's his name? I'm sorry.
Sebastian?
Sebastian is like, hurry, let's drag these corpses to the mass grave behind the playground. We need to make room for my new hospital.
Right. And we find out that Kinko, we see the burnt New Yorker, and she goes, is Kinko? And he goes, oh yeah, he's dead.
Yeah.
I told you not to get close to him. And she goes, well, you don't even care about these people. You're just,
Yeah.
And his point is like, I'm trying to help like overall, these people. If these kids die, it is what it is, but it's not going to get better. You know what I mean? Like basically the bigger picture. And he's like, you need to toughen up if you're going to be here. And she's like, yeah, okay, I can do it. I can do it. And then we cut back to the scene that they're trying to shoot. And Kelsey's giving Bojack direction. And, you just found out your brother's dead and it's your fault. And then she goes, okay, cry. And Bojack's, well, wait, I don't cry in front of people.
Mm-hmm.
She's like, what? He goes, I don't cry in front of people. I can't. And so she clears the room, and he's like, I'm really sorry. I didn't mean to like pull you into this if that's what you expected. I just can't. I don't cry in front of people. So she gives him the direction again. And she says, Bojack, sit down. You've just been told your brother is dead and it's your fault. But this moment is bigger than that. This is the moment that Secretariat stops running, because this is the moment you realize something inside you is broken and it can never be fixed. And it's a little. I think it's a little too real for Mr. Horseman, Horse Bojack, as we like to call him.
Yeah.
She goes, we got it, and he goes, really? I didn't cry. She goes, you didn't have to. So they got the shot. She's excited and thanks Bojack for having her do this. She thinks Turtle Top's gonna love it, and he goes, you didn't think I had it in me, huh? And she goes, oh no, I knew.
Yeah, that whole idea of like, this is the moment when you stop running, like you find out that there's something inside of you that you like can't fix, is that hit really hard. That is something that grown is very central to a character arc in one of the Stormlight books.
Grown.
One of the there was a quote that I pulled just because I really like it, and from the book that just made me think of Bojack and all that. And it's Fleet kept running. He couldn't win, but he kept running. And when the storm caught him, it didn't matter that he died, because he'd run for all he had. We all die in the end, you see. So I guess what truly matters is just how well you've run. And that just, that's a whole thing is the one of the characters needs to learn is that it doesn't really matter. Like ending the race doesn't matter, because when you do that, like you just die. Like you're gonna die eventually anyways.
Right.
So it doesn't matter when you end the race. What really matters is how well you ran and how hard you ran and how long you kept running for.
Yeah. Yeah. Existentialism.
Yeah. And it just, I immediately thought about that when I was watching this scene, and she mentioned the thing about this is the moment when you stop running and you let it, you let it catch up with you.
Definitely. But Bojack goes outside and cries.
Yep.
He has a moment where he definitely breaks down and cries. While this is going on, we didn't mention Mr. Peanut Butter gets a call from Diane.
Yeah.
And he goes, hey, I'm really proud of you for what you're doing, and I'm sorry that, I made a big deal about this, you leaving and all that, but you are doing such big work and such help, and I'm so proud of you, and how is it there? And she goes, it's fine. But then we cut out to see that she's actually in the LA airport. And so she was calling him to say, hey, I'm coming home, but then what he said to her made her feel bad, so now she's not going to come home necessarily. And then she goes, how's the game show? And he goes, oh, shoot, I forgot I'm supposed to be filming a game show right now. And that's when we get the Ethan Hawke caca in the show. Bojack goes to shooting the next day.
Yes.
And Kelsey's not there, and there's some blowfish-looking guy. And Bojack goes, hey, and they're still filming the Christmas stuff. And he goes, hey, where's Kelsey? And Lenny goes, oh, yeah, funny story. Turns out you two knuckleheads snuck out last night and got that shot I told you not to get for the scene that's not in the movie anymore. Silly me, I didn't like that, so I fired her ass. And he says, here, go get in costume, Hamlet. We got to film this movie.
Yeah.
And so Bojack feels absolutely awful about this, and you can tell, and you can tell his anxiety is just, bursting at the seams. And he gets back to his house, and there's Diane with her luggage and says, hey, can I crash here a few days? I don't have anywhere else to go. And that's how the episode ends. Also, we talked about Princess Carolyn meeting up with Rutabaga. So they're
also, did we mention, I think character actress Margot Martindale died? She got shot a couple times at least.
Yeah, I don't think they killed her, but she definitely was going down in a blaze of glory. Todd sneaks out. I didn't mention
but
that.
But she gets hit.
Yeah, she definitely gets hit. But, I don't think we've seen the last of Margot Martindale.
Okay, good
Character
to know.
actress Margot
Good
Martindale.
to know. Character actress Margot Martindale. I wrote her down her full name like that, by the way. Character actress Margot Martindale.
Fun fact for you, character actress Margot Martindale was in the 2010 movie Secretariat.
Fuck you. Shut up.
Swear to God. She was.
Did we talk about Margot Martindale being a real character actress when she was introduced?
I don't know. Did you think she wasn't?
I thought this was a fucking joke.
No, she's a real actress. She was in Cocaine Bear recently.
She was in Cocaine Bear.
Yeah. She's the real deal. She's character actress Margot Martindale.
I didn't realize that she was a real person.
Yeah, she's Dewey Cox's mom in Walk Hard.
She was in Hannah Montana the movie.
She's on the show The Americans, The Good Wife, The Millers.
I didn't think she was a real person.
How did you not think she was real?
Why would I think she's real?
Why? This show has like tons of real people in it. What do you mean?
I didn't.
Shawn, please. Shawn, she's been acting since the 80s.
I didn't know.
Oh no, Shawn.
Oh man.
Yeah, character actress Margot Martindale, real person. She would, if you were about to be in a shootout with her, she would go through with it because you didn't know she was real.
Maybe,
Yeah, she's in so much, including BoJack Horseman. But yeah, so we haven't seen the last of her for sure. So Shawn, that's the episode.
Yes.
Let's do the categories.
All right. What are the categories again? I gotta look.
What was your favorite animal-based joke?
My favorite animal-based joke is something that we actually did not talk about. But it was very funny where Mr. Peanut Butter was talking about how he cries. And he's like, like,
oh yeah,
when somebody says that they're going to take you to the park and they talk about how much fun you're going to have at the park, but then they don't take you to the park. And then later on, when him and the security guard who thinks that his dad is Nixon are leaving.
What a sentence.
Yeah. When they're leaving, the security guard's like, there's a park across the street we could go hang out at. And Mr. Peanut Butter was like, oh, really? And then he goes, oh, I just remembered that the sprinklers are on, so we can't. So he starts to cry again.
Yes, that is a really good animal-based joke. I usually like to go for like a visual one, but I don't remember any from this episode that were like.
I have another one if you want a visual one.
Yeah, go ahead.
There's in the background of the art gallery, there is a painting of dogs playing checkers, which I think is pretty funny.
Well, dogs can play chess and checkers.
Dogs can play chess and checkers.
Yep,
they can. And if you
can.
think that they can't, it's just because you're afraid that you're going to lose to them.
Exactly. But they definitely can.
They definitely can.
They're
very good at it.
Yeah, they're incredible, actually.
Yeah.
Okay, so what was your favorite bit of the episode?
I think it was the Nixon, the my dad is Nixon thing.
Yeah, me too. I don't think we see this character ever again, but he's definitely a very memorable character.
Yeah.
Just as the guy who thinks Nixon's his dad and has to bring it up at every chance.
Like, what a crazy thing for an older person to say too, because he looks
he's
like he's
adult.
About 40. You know, like if we sat down and you and I were talking, and you were like, my dad is actually Elvis. I'd be like, what? It'd be like some crazy shit. And this dude, and Nixon is even crazier than Elvis.
Right.
Nixon is just.
It's more believable that Elvis would have legitimate children out there, right?
Yeah. Nixon is like.
Did Nixon ever fuck canonically? I don't think so. Is there a record of Nixon fucking? I don't think that exists.
Nixon must have fucked.
I don't think so, man.
He fucked himself.
Well, yeah, but I don't think he's ever had the sex.
You don't think so?
No.
What if he has kids?
Chad JFK Virgin Nixon, you know what I mean?
Okay. Okay.
But yeah, that's my favorite bit of this episode too. I agree with you. And then favorite quote.
It might be I'm punishing you for being alive.
Yeah, that one's rough. Mine's probably Kelsey's direction towards Bojack.
That one's really good.
Because this is the moment you realize something inside you is broken and it can never be fixed. But if I have to go over the funny one, it's breaking and entering. That is against everything that Nixon stood for.
Yeah, that one's really good. That one's really good.
I really like that one.
I really like political humor. So anything like that where you're just like, come on.
Yeah, definitely.
Like, come on.
Like, come on now. That's why I love the fucking AI Biden Trump Obama shit so much because it's just like so like fucking stupid.
Yeah.
Jason sent me one where they were Biden's playing City Skylines and they're like commenting on his grid placement and stuff and they're like, "Come on, Joe, what are you doing?" Anyway, and then Trump's like, "Actually, that's a pretty good interchange." Joe, where did you learn to do this? He goes, "I don't know, guys. I'm on fire right now." Like it's so fucking stupid. Like,
well, what's crazy about? I'm sorry, we're about to get derailed for a second, but what's crazy about the whole presidents playing video games with AI thing is how quickly that subset of content creation developed its own lore.
Yeah,
I'll watch a million of those by different people, and the storyline seems consistent.
Right.
Which is insane.
It's like people have a clear idea of who these real life people are as these characters, right?
Yeah.
Because it's all based on realness, but even if it's exaggerated, right? So everybody knows, okay, Biden's a fucking idiot and he doesn't know how technology works, and Trump's the blowhard and Obama's in the middle, right? And so people, I haven't searched these out. I literally just get them from Jason.
Yeah.
Jason will just send them to me.
I get them on TikTok.
See, I'm not a TikTok guy. I'm not a Reels guy. I don't go watch all that stuff. But Jason will just send them to me on privately on Instagram. Mm-hmm. So I haven't seen a bad one.
Yeah.
I know they probably exist. It's just I'm not seeing them because I'm not looking for it. But Jason will send these a couple of these to me a week, and I'm just fucking. There's one that killed me where it's the typical Minecraft parkour one. Yeah. And at first the guy's not doing it. And then Trump just goes, "Is this guy going to fucking start jumping or what?" And it made me fucking laugh so hard because it just threw me off.
I love the ones where they throw Bush in there.
Yeah, Bush or Bill.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm a sucker for W and Bill Clinton coming back.
Yeah, it's
because these are like presidents that were like, you know, they both did really horrible things in office. But for some reason, like, it just seems like a more like innocent time when they're there, right?
Bush is like a war criminal, but because he has a book about painting, we're like, look, it's W.
Right.
It's W.
Yeah, for some reason, like, I guess it's because I was younger, but it seems so much more innocent, right? Like, they seem like, oh, things didn't really hit the fan until, like, and not that, you know, I think Obama did a pretty decent job as president. Trump and Biden, you know, Trump definitely not, and Biden jury's out. But,
it's just
it's just like so funny. Like, you see Bill Clinton, you go, oh, it's old Bill. You know what I mean? Like, that's like, why do I have this like warm feeling around Bill Clinton?
It's also or George Bush
or George W. Bush, who, you know, if you ask some people, committed like the most fucking biggest atrocity of all time. That's right. I'm talking about 9/11, folks.
Oh, I was talking about lying about the war in Iraq, but well, it's also funny because, like, you know, the people making these memes, they fucking either weren't alive when Bush was president,
right,
or they didn't know anything about
so
politics when Bush was president.
Yeah.
Like,
for sure. Or they still don't know anything about politics, right? They just know like what like the media is telling them about. I mean,
you can absolutely tell in the way that they're portrayed that these people don't really know anything about politics. It's just media portrayals, but it's still funny, you know. They at least know about the media portrayals of like Obama, Trump, and Biden. But I feel like they don't even really know about the media portrayals of like Bush and Clinton are just
Clinton
like
got his dick sucked in the Oval Office, you know, and Bush did 9/11, LOL, you know.
Either it's Bush did 9/11 or he paints pictures now.
Right.
But it's never like the war in Iraq was like a big deal.
Right, it was. Well, like, and what's the deal? I keep seeing there's the famous video of Bush being told that the second tower got hit while he's like reading the children. Why have those memes like resurfaced?
I don't know.
I see them all the time, and it's always like something stupid like, sir, the second itsy bitsy spider just fell down the water spout. You know, like it's something like stupid like that. I don't know why.
The one I saw recently that really got me was Kevin Feige receiving the news that Jonathan Majors has been arrested in New York.
Oh, fuck. They're fucked. They're absolutely... They planned, like, all of their movies around this one central guy, and then he hit his wife or his girlfriend or whatever, and now they're fucked. And I don't know what they're gonna do.
I kept seeing the lawyer be like, we have video that, like this 100% innocent. And I was like, oh, okay, so, like, they've got like, evidence. And then I saw somebody mention, like, hang on a second, isn't this the same lawyer for that other entertainment lady that like totally did it and got like 6.5 years for it? So I'm like, oh, okay, so you just can't fucking believe anything the lawyer says immediately if it's the same lawyer that this other person like went to jail for 6.5 years for doing, you know? Like, it's just, they're fucked. They're totally fucked. Yeah.
Anyway, Bojack Horseman.
Yeah, Shawn, we went way off the rails. But
next episode is called Yes and.
I'm excited. I love a good improv. So
Diane crashes at Bojack's place after quitting her job following Sebastian St. Clair, which puts a strain on Bojack and Wanda's relationship. Todd joins an improv comedy troupe, which turns out to be a cult.
I can't wait.
This episode's rated 8.4 out of 10 on IMDb. And this episode features a cameo by someone you're going to be very excited about. Don't spoil it.
Okay.
You personally are going to be very excited about this cameo.
Okay, I'm excited.
I'm excited for you to find out this improv thing because it's lampooning something else. Not improv, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really funny. But
I'm excited.
Next time we will go over that episode. I appreciate everybody listening and watching.
I hope you enjoyed our rambling there at the end.
Send me your favorite Trump Obama Biden AI videos.
Yeah. If extra points if you've got a Bush or a Clinton in there.
Yeah, extra points if they're in there. But
Okay.
don't send me them talking about Kingdom Hearts. Okay.
Yeah.
Regular Pat nailed it from the get go.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I don't want to see a tier list. I don't want it. I don't care. Regular Pat's video was pitch perfect, and no one's gonna do it better. Sorry, Bio. Even though yours was released on the same day, Pat's was just better.
Pat's was so good. Pat's was so good. Bios was good too. I really loved Bios too, but Pat's was just.
But it's the kind of thing where it's like Pat's was so good. It's like it's like Bio should have came out a day earlier. You know what I mean?
He should have gotten that insider information, and done it. I want somebody to send me one of those. I'm issuing a challenge to you. Throw Jimmy Carter in there.
Oh, wow. Okay. Skipping HW. Skipping HW on us.
I mean,
That's
does
crazy.
anybody really remember HW and not
do.
like his son? No, but I mean, do we ever, who talks about HW and not his kid?
What, well, first of all, rest in peace, HW.
Yeah.
Second of all, they just reminded me, Jason and I think we were watching like a Thanksgiving football game or something because the Cowboys were playing, and HW came out for the coin toss, and he was in like a wheelchair. It was later on in his life, and Jason and I started painting this scenario where they put the mic on him, and he's about to like reveal that his son did 9/11, and then just a fucking sniper bullet takes him out in his wheelchair. I'm here to tell you that my son, and he's just done. Like a fucking poison trank dart hits him in the neck. Poor HW.
I think that Jimmy Carter would fit really well into that whole scenario if you play him as like kind of this sweet old dude who's just like, what's going on?
Here's what you do.
What?
Here's what you do, Shawn. You do JFK and Nixon.
Oh, JFK. I just want some older presidents. That's all I'm really asking for.
Give me George Washington and Thomas Jefferson, all right? Give me Teddy Roosevelt. Give me some good presidents in there, all right? Yeah. So that's our challenge to you guys. Anyway, Shawn, where can people find you?
On Twitter at Shawn_AFK.
And you can find me on Twitter at SpikeGhetti Bros. Thank you guys so much for listening and watching. We'll see you guys next time.
Suck a dick, dumb shits.
There we go. We need like a way for me to lead you into that because
No, I can.
But I can't say hit him with it because that's I do that on the.
No, I think it's funnier that I forget.
Okay, fair enough. All right, bye.
Yeah. All right, bye.